2022. Rockhampton Grammar up against St. Peter Claver College, and the hooter goes, and we are underway in this all-important Game 3 of this competition. It's Pool C, Div 1, and they receive at the southern end St. Peter Claver College. Rockhampton Grammar running from left to right, with the breeze still playing an integral part of all these games. And here's a penalty, second tackle. Won't be happy about there, Grant Broadhurst. It's a very good morning still to Michael Crutcher. Mate, you've seen some quality footy on the outside grounds.
I have. I'm short of breath because the stairs are steep, and I did run over from the far fields. We've had a whole bunch of...
They're still putting that fire out behind you. That's how fast you're going.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The breeze will take it. We had a whole bunch of Division 1 matches just finished now on those outer fields, and some cracking games. Probably the one that was of most interest to the locals, a huge crowd for St. Patrick's Mackay against Iona College, two unbeaten teams. St. Pat's Mackay 10, Iona 6.
Still going? Or
finished.
All finished?
Finished.
What a cracker.
A very close game as we got a break here.
Torino scored a try in his game yesterday, and he's driving forward. It's going to be close to the chalk here. They're rolling over the top here is Bryce Layton. He'll get up and play it. Almost put his foot in a touch there, did Lachlan Bushby. But anyway, the prop forward's going to go front of Papua. And Papua's still going, get off me. He's still driving sideways, if anything. Dummy half finally arrives there in Coburn, and they get a penalty lying down in the ruck. Quick tap here from Sed. Sed was outstanding yesterday, the number 6.
He was. Not sure he saw enough of the ball yesterday.
No, I agree. Papua, when he had the ball, he's had the defence thinking, and he's a wiry customer. Here he is with it now, Said. So maybe told to do a little bit more. A couple of double pumps there. Finds Torino, the fullback, and Torino's going to lurch over the 10-metre line. 10 in from the far side. And a knock on. And he's going to remonstrate Torino that it was actually interfered with from the Rockhampton Grammar School. And yeah, how many times the referees changed their mind?
Just some other results from out there in that Division 1 competition. We had the Cathedral College against St Mary's Toowoomba, a win for TCC from Rocky, 14-0 over St Mary's Toowoomba. We also had St Patrick's College Shorncliffe against Emmaus at Rockhampton, 28-16 to Emmaus. So they came from behind to beat Shorncliffe. And we also had a game, which is one that probably... Well, another game, we had Marist Ashgrove with its first win, 24 against Aquinas College 12. So 24-12 Marist. And the one that I reckon will be taking most notice will be taken off across the competition. Ignatius Park College 42 defeated St Augustine's from Cairns 0.
Still haven't had their line crossed.
They haven't. So their combined score, Ignatius Park College in this carnival so far, is 122-0. Wow. So they're the benchmark right now after the end of those pool matches for those teams. So this afternoon we're likely to have Ignatius Park College v Iona College.
Out in the full. It's the breeze pushing it there. That'll be a juicy contest.
It will, and I think from St Patrick's College Mackay's point of view, this is a tournament they've long looked forward to. They had to come from behind to pip Iona College. If they hadn't, Iona College, keep in mind, was playing only its third game of rugby league this season, had not played rugby league until yesterday's game 1. If St Pat's Mackay hadn't got past Iona College, they would have been facing Ignatius Park College this afternoon on the Heartbreak Tuesday. So all sorts of things happening at the moment, but the testing material is Iggy Park.
Morgan with a good run. So lots to look forward to here this afternoon. Allowed to run. Ball carrier comes through, and Halbrigg. And Halbrigg will get close to the line. The referee's going to have a look. Held up. Ooh, he must have been close. Lucky I'll tell you what, if his headgear was white, the referee might have thought it was a try. Of course, that's how much of him was over, but not the footy, so it's a changeover.
I'm interested here.
Or, no, it can't be a changeover because actually he
be
lost the scrum because the changeover would have been on the spot.
I'm interested in how Rocky Grammar goes because we saw their game last night on this field, John, and it was a game with a big crowd against St Pat's Mackay. It was a nice occasion, and they played really well in the second half. They lost the first half 20-0. They won the second half 6-0. They had real enthusiasm and energy. I just wondered whether St Pat's Mackay, going from that game last night with all of that, fanfare, out on field 6 they were against Iona, right out the back of the complex there, very different to last night, whether that was a bit of a change mentally. So Rocky Grammar got to back up from that really good half last night.
So at the moment we've got 0-0 here. As you said, it was a big crowd here, big occasion for the home college. And to go out in the backfield, they probably wouldn't have minded it, just concentrate on the game at hand and the importance of it all. But what a great game. 10-6, you said.
10-6. I only led 6-0 at half-time. 2 tries to St. Pat's in the second half.
It's all about the full 40 minutes. Well, that'll extend, obviously, to 25 in the semis and then 30 for the final Friday afternoon.
With time off, too, in the final.
Yeah. And I do recall the final at Bundaberg, we had time off. It was a long game, if I recall. Michael Crutcher with the stoppages. There was a couple of injuries. It took a...
Yeah, and I think in 2017, from memory, we actually had to move fields because of an injury. So that was probably the longest final that we have had.
So, anyway, that's a long way away. Ryan Shepherd will get up and play it. He's facing the wrong way. Finally turns around here for Peter Claver. That's slightly forward pass and slightly forward enough for the touch-up just right there. So relief for Rocky Grammar. Might have been something ensuring down that left-hand side here from Peter Claver. So scrum will be fed 8 metres inside Grammar's half.
And this will be these matches now. I can see on the far field there's a game between St. Brendan's College of Poon and Padua College as well. That's happening at the moment. So we've got, I should say, no, it's not. It's Shalom College and
Padua,
and
way
Padua.
up.
I can see that far out. We've also got it
right in front of your helicopter too.
Yes, right in front of my fleet, one of my fleet. But also we've got Marymount playing out there at the moment as well against St. Brendan. So we're going to have all of these quarter-final games decided in this next 40 minutes.
Joshua Organ with a good tackle there. So here they come again, breaking away. Here goes Burnett, and Burnett gets to the 20. I want to be careful here. They're on a roll. Peter Claver need to defend. They go to the blind side. They've got numbers. Fullback and Zaleski stands in the tackle. He's facing the wrong way, but they haven't got him down there. Holland tried to pull him down, doesn't do so. Burnett with another crack, and it's a penalty, or is it a...
There's a penalty there, yes.
Marker's not straight there, so they'll have another crack at the line.
I must say, I watched that last game from the camera operator's scaffolding because I could get up there and see across every field, which was fantastic, but it was uncomfortably... it was uncomfortable in the wind.
Yeah,
I will say that.
They do a great job, and I'll give a shout out to the scaffolding company here that's provided that shortly as we see Rocky Grammar go through.
So that wind is consistent today?
As yesterday. Ooh, somebody came out of line there with a destructive intention. Half volley, picked up. Catch and pass, and away he goes Joe Morrison, and Morrison. They go the blind side, this through White. White's going to go over and score, I think, and he has, and Grady White will open the account. Well, hang on, no. He's changed his mind to a double movement. Thought he had watered the try, but he's on the...
He did have the nod of the head look that referees tend to do when they're about to award one, but obviously some information came to him about the double movement. But we know at NRL level, it's just too tempting at times to reach out and put that ball across. So totally understandable there from Rocky Grammar.
We have touch judges for this Div 1 game, so consultation from the referee before awarding the try, and that's what you like to have. All three of them have a very important role. So St. Peter Claver breathe a sigh of relief. They'll work it out. That's their 20-metre line behind them. Here's Lachlan Bushby, one of the biggest centre three-quarters in the game. Penalty. Inside the 10.
So what we know in this game is that Rocky Grammar and St. Peter Claver are unlikely to finish first or second in their pool because St. Patrick's Mackay and Iona College will take those first two spots as that wind takes that ball and pushes it across the line. So what these two teams are most likely doing is trying to position themselves in the best spot for this afternoon's quarter-finals for the Bob Linder Trophy. So that'll be on their mind right now.
Organ gets the offload to Finn Lamond. Coburn a dummy half. Goes himself, Coburn, and has he got there? No, referee says held up. Go back 10 metres. Good defence here from Rocky Grammar. Papu a dummy half. Halfback tries to wheezy way through there, Lachlan Stewart, but gets cut down on the 10 metre. They again go to that right-hand side. Said with a whistling pass over the top, it's going to be a knock-on. Probably needed to take that ball himself, Said.
Yeah, just pop. We've seen that manoeuvre work before at times, just drawing in that defender with the show and then over the top to pass it, but didn't come off this time. I like the fact they're trying things. Peter Claver, as we said before, yesterday when Said was in that play, he seemed as though he was a dangerous option for them. Looked as though he could make a break at different times with that speed across his first 5 or 10 metres. So Rocky Grammar will have noticed that. They'll be defending against it, and they've got to come out of their own territory now the whole way.
Yep. BFB scaffolding here in Mackay. Mining construction industry. So they're the scaffolding boys. Here we go now down the right-hand side. Cover defence comes across. Don't go on with it. It's a quick play the ball and a great break there from Brad Taylor. Now the prop forward goes for a charge, and that's Nash Beak. And Nash Beak's it's one player tumbling in Holbrig. He's a bit gassed there as Beak, probably just winded. He's grabbing at the back of his head.
He's got a delay here while Tatendu now. We can see the replay here of the bust down the right-hand side. It was a lovely ball too, and hit at just the right place to give momentum there for Taylor to off and gone. But impressive cover defence from Peter Claver. Both schools have a proud Confro history. Former champions in Rocky Grammar a few years ago. Peter Claver have been finalists in the Confraternity Shield before. So they're schools that do have a good history. I'm pretty sure this coaching staff for Rocky Grammar, the management staff includes David Faumu, former NRL player. And now, unless I'm going to take a gamble here, because I would think that Rocky Grammar, with their coaching staff, Grant Broadhurst, I'm pretty sure he's the uncle of Connor Broadhurst, North Devils Premiership 5/8 last year, former Burleigh Bears Premiership centre as well. So the Broadhurst family, Connor, of course, has played for the Capras himself before. He's a school teacher, Connor. So
he's also very fast.
He's very fast.
He's fast.
He's a very astute guy, Connor Broadhurst. Very fine player.
Last tackle now here for Rockhampton Grammar. Puts a kick through. The regathering doesn't... Or does he go through with it? No, knock on. So that will be a changeover. 12 out from their own line. So Peter Claver survive again. So 0-all the scoreboard remains after 13 minutes. I don't recall there being a 0-all scoreline this deep into a game.
And it's not as though we're playing in the middle of the field either. We're at different ends of the ground. I mean, Rocky Grammar brought that ball from their own line down the other end. So we'll see what Peter Claver's got here if they can get themselves down there. And that wind is blowing across, so it's not necessarily assisting anyone greatly. It's pretty much tearing straight across the ground, although there is a bit of protection from that hill there, which is probably a nice place to sit because you would have some protection and it's in the sun.
So we've got a football boot loose in backfield. I don't know who owns that one, but anyway, Said catch and pass, finds the replacement in Ortagavia, still going.
The boot belongs to Rocky Grammar's middle. I can see one black sock and one white shoe.
There you go. Halfway line crossed. Last tackle, says the referee. Said the breeze coming from top of screen to bottom of screen, and that might actually push that ball. As Michael Crutch has said, the breeze coming from... Well, definitely a easterly now.
Full points to Nash Beak there as he puts his boot back on. He played that whole set there, made tackles and didn't worry about that boot, and then gets up and whacks it back on when there's a bit of dead ball time.
Well, Nash Beak was the man who was getting treatment.
Well, and, someone can put themselves in a shoe throwing competition because that was a pretty good...
That's a long way.
That is.
That breeze will even take a boot a fair way. So here we go. Peter Claver again have to defend. Flick pass. Still keeping alive in the corner. And they're going to drag him into touch. So good play there. I think it was Joe Morrison and then Josh Furshman in the corner trying to make their way through there. And Grady White, who was denied a try earlier.
We saw that pass earlier on the right-hand side here that led to a 40-metre movement. You just get the feeling that Rocky Grammar thinks they can make some inroads on these edges. Here again, some nice play down there on the left-hand side as well. So be interesting to see whether Peter Claver can counter that and is what they're going to do in terms of getting themselves down the other end of the field as well. Who are their guys who they can rely on in these times with 4.5 minutes to go to get into attacking position?
I had Brian Pollock calling the first game here for St. Pat's, and they went through the videotapes from their games yesterday, so that's exactly what every club will be doing, or every school will be doing with their players. And a weaving run here, has opportunities. Fullback, has he passed it too soon? Away goes Sam, fresh set of heels, and Joshua Organ flies through the air and scores a corner, and they open the scoring after 16 minutes.
Well, we just said who's going to be the attacking option, and there we go. That was a fantastic run from deep in their own half. Great jink there. Lachlan Stewart. And he's got runners. He's got two of them. Good support there.
Well, we talked about a cover defence in threes, and there's three of them right there doing the same thing in attack. And that was a 20-metre line that they started from, Michael, too.
Fantastic run and try. And Joshua Organ, the co-captain here of the St. Peter Claver team. He'll be thrilled with that. I'll tell you, the speed from the fullback from Rocky Grammar to chase in Cody Sanuski. Yeah. Well, that was very impressive. He's got a good set of wheels on him. He had to turn around, start and go again, and he almost got there.
Well, Oscar Torrens from St. Columban's College from the kick-off. 1 metre out from his own try line. Length of the field try. Oh. Unbelievable. He had to beat 3 or 4, and they came at him. And the reason I bring that up, and I'll tell you in a second, after this conversion attempt from Lachlan Stewart, who started that play, and that's weaved too much, unfortunately, in way. I was saying to Peter Elmore, if you recall Bundaberg, it always seemed to feature outstanding number ones. I can remember a lot of fullbacks being outstanding. In this carnival, the 13s seem to be standing out for me, the 13s or the 12s. I don't know whether it's a coincidence. It just seems that the 13s are just making a lot of metres and causing a lot of havoc. Have a look at this one. This is obviously the number 12, but good run there from Stewart. And they've just got some mobility back rowers these days. Look at that.
They do. Well, you're right. Those ones in Bundaberg, there were some fantastic ones from memory. William Boland from Shorncliffe, St. Pat Shorncliffe. Brian Pollock's fullback was in the merit team, the Confray merit team that year. There were some excellent ones. Some of those back row, as you mentioned, we haven't seen Ignatius Park College yet on field one, but their 13 is Jamal Shibasaki, the brother of Gemmet Shibasaki, the former Broncos outside back. He is a 13 with significant size and speed, so he'd be among those guys that selectors are looking at for the merit team, which will be named on Friday. It'll be very competitive in that back row spot.
Yeah, Harry Armstrong's another one, number 13, just off the top of my head. Another one was number 13, who's only 10, who played grade 10 in the previous game. That's been played out, so that should be 6 to go, and it's going to be a penalty for holding the player back, whether it was the kicker.
I'd say, too, the 13s, Jet Daly, St. Pat Shorncliffe, is one of their best players, another mobile number 13 as well. Don't forget, for all of those ones we had in Bundaberg, the player of the carnival was 13, Charlie Murray from Merrimount College, who's now playing in the Host Plus Cup comp with Tweed Seagulls. So he did emerge from a group there to be the player of the carnival, but you're right, it just seemed very heavy with outside backs. There's a penalty here again to St. Peter Claver, and with 30 seconds left or so in this half, roughly, this is a big chance to extend the lead.
Do you take the 2? Anyway, going grab a kick here, reaches out. Oh, he must have used his fingernails to pull that one in. I thought it was All money was going to go in the in-goal area. Might be a game changer there. If they score, going to half-time, and it's tough to come back from that. The Hooters gone, but he's still trying to charge as far as he can. So 6-0. Peter Claver College over Rockhampton Grammar, and that try coming in the 16th minute. So what a half of Rugby League Div 1 Pool C. We'll come back with the second half here, live from BB Prince Stadium here in Mackay.
We see you working hard, juggling, dreaming, climbing. We see your ambition, your dedication. We see you gaining confidence in our spaces and on our screens. Yeah, we see you doing more and going further. With CQ University Australia, it's time to be what you want to be.
For me, it's an opportunity to learn without restrictions.
It's the coach I need to always improve my game.
It's being a brother to another.
It's the chance to perform at my highest potential.
It's understanding the importance of our historical community.
So what can St Edmunds do for you?
Strap yourselves in, folks. This is going to be an absolute thrilling final 20 minutes of this clash. As I said, it took 16 minutes to break the 0-0 deadlock. And St Peter Claver College will kick off in a breeze that's... I've just been outside and it's a cold breeze.
It is a cold breeze. This is not North Queensland in June.
What's going on?
Come on.
Climate change.
I came up here with very little winter clothing, I must say, and it is chilly today. But I am soft, I do.
No, I don't like the cold either.
No, I'm soft. Just some scores from the other grounds in this Div 1 competition. According to the Confraternity Carnival website, you can get all the information at confraternitycarnival.com.au. With some really important games out here in terms of finishing spots in the pool matches. We've got St Brendan's College Yeppoon 4 leading Marymount College Burleigh Waters 0. So 4-0 in that game. And then also we've got Padua College 4 leading Shalom College 0. So a couple of interesting games out there. They will be very important 20-minute sets here across these fields to determine who will have the chance to go and play for the Confraternity Shield, starting with this afternoon's quarterfinals.
Yeah, the little penalty for interference in the ruck. Because... the organisers, if they saw a half-time score, they're blown out. They got some idea actually to start to put things into place, but everything's just hanging in the air. And
of course, Marymount and Padua drew yesterday on the game that you called. We had a draw there, so it's really in the balance in that competition. Anything could happen.
Yeah, Padua had an opportunity to win that one with a sideline conversion, but geez, their prized possession and conversion is White. Said denied it for a double movement earlier as White gets within 18. Good quick. Oh, that's going to be a knock on. I was going to say good quick play the ball, and unfortunately they've come up with an error. Rocky Grammar. They want to put a little bit of pressure on, but you can possibly see through on the camera the breeze hitting the jerseys. And as I said, it's very chilly. Actually, I worked out, Einstein, John, why it was so cold in here, and I've turned the air conditioner down because Yeah, I was freezing in here, and I know cryogenics is a long way off, but a bit early. Said, double pump Said, almost gets through. They're just going to grab him from the tails. Not before he gets the offload away, so yeah, he needs to get involved. And I think somebody might have had a word with him, as you said, Michael Crutcher. Last night he wasn't involved all that much, but today he's applying himself and he's causing sort of headaches for the defence.
Yeah, I'd just be keen to see him get involved, especially against some of those tiring forwards. He's got speed, as we said, over 5 or 10 metres, and this is where it becomes really important as we have a loose carry ruled here. So Rocky Grammar on the front foot again, just short of halfway.
Possession needs to be a little bit more, protective of the football. Don't lose it. Just changes the whole game. And there's an offload. Nice stuff. Here he goes now as Grady White gets a nice ball from Nash Beak off the grass. Get up and play. It's a 28 from the try line. Good defence. Oh, that's a super shot there coming. That's from the winger and Seth Holland. What a beauty. Blindside, they keep going. Grammar. Pop pass out to Weddle, and Weddle gives it, keeping it alive here, and there's defence coming across here from Peter Claver that's going to keep him stretched. So Rocky Grammar can get it out quickly enough. They've got plenty of numbers out wide, but wobbling pass doesn't help. Now here's an opportunity. They're going to go for that right-hand corner. Long ball that has to grab it to the far side. In the air is Brad Taylor. They're still keeping alive here, Rocky Grammar. It's almost like they're behind by 20 points the way they're throwing it around here. Dummy half is Grady White. Throws a wobbly old pass out. They're going to have to do something about these dummy half passes anyway. Crossfield bomb. A lot of heat coming through. Grabs it. Goes over and scores. And a wonderful fly through the air and catch and grab by Ryan Shepherd.
Well, what a try for Rocky Grammar. That went from one side of the field to the other. We had props stepping off their left foot and offloading. And, yeah, we had probably in that set 3 dummy half passes that hit the deck. But there's the kick. There's the jump, the take. Yep, we've seen the finger raised almost every field in Confro so far to do that. But they deserved that one, Rocky Grammar. Enterprising play. I was about to say, hey, you look at those classic props of Rocky Grammar with the body shapes they've got. They run hard and fast, but on that occasion we had the ball going from one side of the field to the other, and in the end a great kick with that breeze, and that was a kick where the breeze is right behind it, took it straight across the field, and a really good take there for it's when you're coming through with that momentum, when you're an outside back against a defender who doesn't have the chance to run in, they're stationary. If you get that leap right, you've got the ascendancy, and that was a classic kick and deliver from Rocky Grammar. This will have to start at the right upright, I'd reckon, with the way this breeze is blowing.
My apologies, because I've called the wrong player. It's actually Cooper Broadhurst. And there's a conversion successful, 6-all. So we spoke about Cooper Broadhurst.
And Connor Broadhurst would be very happy to be involved in a kick or a catch like that. Of course, Connor Broadhurst did a kick just like that for the try that won the Devils the grand final last year. So up we go. And the finger raised. That's now, as we said earlier.
It's like the Steve Smith one thing. It just seems to be in the game of rugby league now. Everybody's doing the little thing. The short kickoff does go. 10 knocks it on. So that will be a scrum feed here to Rocky Grammar. I would think they knocked it on first.
We saw the Rocky Grammar team in 2017 when they won the Confraternity Shield, their first and only Shield win, but certainly a very well-deserved one that day. And they had Cowboys back rower Ben Condon in that team. He was damaging. I think he might have been the player of the Carnival in 2017, but they had a whole bunch of body shapes from memory in that Confro Shield winning team, which just looked like classic forward shapes, Condon in particular, with the damage that he wrought in the back. And they've got some good potential here, Rocky Grammar, but they find themselves with an obstruction penalty, but they just find themselves... This is a sort of competition now, the level of it, and you can see from Ignatius Park, 122-0 through the pool stages, but the comp is so good that you couldn't even say that Ignatius Park would be the best of good things to win. They would be the favourites, but whether they win or not, we don't know because the competition is good. So it's very hard to come and even have a couple of down games in Confro now because you'll find that other teams might have your measures. So they've got potential, Rocky Grammar. We saw that last night with their excellent second half against St. Pat's Mackay, and they'll see what they can do at 6-all here.
So Howbrig gets a good view of BB Prince Stadium. Get up and play it slowly and gingerly, not too good. Now with Papua, and Papua drives within 11 of the try line. 6-all ball game here. 14 minutes still to go. They go to the blind side here through Stewart. Puts a kick into the in-goal area, and it's going to be batted dead line drop out. Good play there from Peter Claver. The Rocky Grammar saved the day.
Yeah, good pressure from Peter Claver to come back at it. This could be an entertaining finish, this one. We've just gone from a try at the northern end down to a bit of enterprise at the southern end.
And I asked Peter Elmore and his memory and your memory, how many times you've seen an odd number in a final score? That's a hell of a line dropout. Look at that. It's gone 40.
That is a fabulous kick.
60 metres. Trying to get through there is Williamson. Yeah, so I don't, of all the scores, I don't think I've ever seen an odd number.
No, I don't recall.
No field goals.
I don't recall many at all. It's not a real field goal carnival, the way that the game's played.
No. Fancy their arm at getting across the chalk. Oh, has to take that tackle or go back the other way, and he does so. Good presence of mind there from Lachlan Stewart.
Maybe it's because they're 20-minute halves as well, and you think it's a sprint all the time.
Or penalty late in the tackle count. And the other thing is they don't have a clock.
No, they don't
can't see, so they don't know whether, do I take a field goal or we've got another couple of minutes, another set of 6 or what? Yeah.
That's right, and you will hear the trainers yelling out minutes to go, but some of them too, they're not really sure. And you'll see kicks, with 45 seconds to go in terms of short, sharp attacking kicks when they can hold the ball. That's part of Confro, though.
That's it. Said, the little fella trying to get to the try line, and only because he weighs 12 kilos, they picked him up and put him back into the field of play. He was over the line for all money then. If they score this try, they can thank the diminutive number 6, and that's going to be played 1 metre out. He's the dummy half. Throws a no-look pass. Stewart has to run towards it to take the footy and now take the tackle underneath 2 big forwards. 15 out from the try line. Said's a dummy half here. The prop forward, Papua. Last tackle now here for Peter Claver. 6-all ball game at the moment. Swiss Stewart puts a grubber kick. Oh, it's been knocked on. It's going to be dived on in the in-goal area. That should be a line dropout to Rocky Grammar. Enterprising stuff from Stewart.
Yeah, we've said a few times in these the St. Peter Claver games that we'd like to see a bit more of Charles Sebb with the ball. That's a classic example of why. Because he's got the speed and he puts the defences in 2 minds, but they don't seem to run the plays for him at different times. I'm not sure they know far more about their team than we do, but he is an elusive player as the ball goes to him from the dropout.
Yeah, they need to hang off his left or right shoulder. So setting sail is Josh Dudd, and Josh Dudd runs over the top of Nick Hardy. Gets to the 30. Here they come, Peter Claver. Slow play the ball. Stewart. Oh, good defence there. Shot coming from Logan Green. To left with Stewart, and Stewart goes without the footy, and that's going to be a knock-on and scrum feed here to Rocky Grammar. It's a good defence from Rocky Grammar. They haven't got any answers yet to get through the line. They have Peter Claver. They've got Stewart on one side, Said on the other side, and they're holding firm.
You just think that with either team, potentially a line break isn't far away. We saw Stewart in the first half with that excellent break that led to the try for Peter Claver. We've seen Rocky Grammar with some of their enterprise in attack as well, but you just get the feeling as we see the replay of Said getting so close, but you're right. He's got a build that makes him look as though if Confraternity Carnival had a 10-kilometre run, he would win by lengths. So he's going to be a player who you think come Thursday, Friday, and this afternoon in particular.
Yeah.
One of the Div 1 coaches said to me this morning that he has no doubt that the game this afternoon is the hardest game of the week. He said finals included. This is the hardest game because it's your 4th game in 2 days. You get a rest tomorrow. You play one game Thursday and one game Friday. So that's why I noticed Ignatius Park before finished that game with their whole starting pack on the bench. So just getting their players to rest, getting ready for what comes this afternoon for them. So when you're up 42-0, you had the luxury of doing that. You can rest at other teams. We mentioned the really close games on the other field, and we are trying to keep an eye on some of them at the moment. Just an update on some of those scores. If my 10-0 to St Brendan's over at Marymount College. So Brendan's trying to go through unbeaten.
Still 9 minutes to go on all fields. So that one's not all over. And
Shalom's hit the front against Padua, according to this. 10-8 Shalom against Padua. So
good.
That's we'll keep a look. We can see that field. It's a long way off. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but I can see specks down there.
Yeah, well, Padua are defending their line at the far end. That's going to be played out. That should be... Oh, gets a lovely bounce. Look out. Throws the ball back inside. Oh, cover defence from Rocky Grammar. Scrambling. They deny Peter Claver a sojourn towards the try line. They goes with Stewart again. Turns an underball now here to Papua. And Papua doesn't get too far. He's been knocked down by his opposite of Nash Beak. Seds with the footy. Takes it to the line, Sed. No way through there. They're trying to grab the little number 6. They finally pull him down here. So ran out of options, did Sed. 18 out from the try line. 6 all. Still 7.5 minutes to go. They go with Stewart. Stewart's allowed to run. Stewart weaves his way through and Stewart goes over and scores. Lachlan Stewart breaks the deadlock with a beautiful individual try.
Oh, like he did in the first half, Stewart there just steps off that left foot. Steps off and weaves his way through that defence. Great individual try. We've seen a couple of good individual tries over the carnival as we see the start of this movement on the replay. And you can see the ball roll there with the wind. But again, two of the critical players in that first half try for... Look at Stewart's step. Oh, stepped again.
Oh, it looks like you underneath the mirror ball of Fridays on a Saturday night, Michael Crutcher. You got the moves like Jagger.
Very good for Stewart, but also the number 12, Joshua Organ, the co-captain. He was involved in that first half try. He scored it. He was involved in getting the ball off that charge down before. So advantage to Peter Claver here as the minutes tick down.
So taking his time and see at the far end, it looks like they might have scored in the corner. Pages seem to be huddling in the in-goal area there, Michael Crutcher. So I think
it looks
like
conceded
a try.
A Shalom try from this far away. Keep in mind, we are probably 250 metres away. I can't tell what's happening in front of me, but it looks as though it's a try out there.
Well, unless there's an injured player, but they seem to be gathered in the in-goal area as we wait for this conversion here on field number 1. Strikes it and converted. So 12-6 and a very important conversion at that.
On the very far side, we have Brendan's with the ball against Marymount right across that side. So we're coming down to the wire here to determine the 8 Confraternity Shield quarterfinalists. We know Peter Claver won't be in it, but with moves like that from Lachlan Stewart, they're a team that can score tries against anyone in this competition.
So restart. It's going to be said he'll try and trap it with his foot. Needs to catch it. Oh, what a great catch. Oh, I can do no wrong here. And there's a good carry. One around the neck. Get up and play it on the 20. Oh, and he's lost. Oh, he regathers it in the end there. There's Ryan Shepherd. Now the wing has a go. Seth Holland. So the little players, and I can't stress strongly enough how important these little players are. As you said, Michael Crutcher, in the back end of this carnival, it's almost like there's a little knock on there. It's almost like a 120-minute game of football where the last 20 minutes, you've got to wait for the last 20 minutes or the 5th set of a tournament to find out who's got the best or the most energy at the back end.
Yeah, you do, and I think that where those teams go, the 25-minute semi-finals per half, the 25-minute per half as Rocky Grammar bring this ball into the Peter Claver territory. But particularly the Friday. I mean, this is a week like no other. There's nowhere else that these guys will play 4 games in 2 days with this intensity level. So that's what, and then add in finals after that, semi-finals and finals. So I think that's why trying to pick winners in Confro is so hard. Because how do you know how they'll go?
Exactly. So Peter Claver need to hang on here. Oh, it's desperate defence from the men in blue. Slow play the ball. Finally comes out. Wobbly old one. It's going to be grabbed. Nice stuff here from the back rower in Joshua Organ, the try scorer. So
I was going to say who else, and gets the penalty as well. He's a hungry player at the back there. One of those back rowers you love in any team you're playing. Just want to be part of everything.
Rocky Grammar will be absolutely livid with their options there that they took. Wobbly old pass. Not for the first time we've seen pretty ordinary passes from dummy half. Gone to grass, and that one was dived on by Organ. They had the 6-point lead. They're on their 30, so they need to get that ball back. Just over 2 minutes remaining.
That score's confirmed. Shalom 14, Padua 8 with a few minutes to go. So that was a Shalom try. You were right.
And they're peppering the line again by the looks of things. But the Padua, the comeback college, they can come from behind, and there's Organ again. If anyone can do it, a 6-point ball game, it's probably Padua. They just don't. That's a knock-on loose carry. Blows up to Lux. Want to be careful he doesn't get a penalty. He's not happy, Jan. Joshua Organ.
What it does mean is, now this is my very rough maths, and it's very, very rough.
Just waiting on my account. Yeah, go on.
take no belief in this, but it could leave us with a Padua College, St. Patrick's College, Shorncliffe match this afternoon, potentially, which would be a grudge match for the northern suburbs of Brisbane, but there's a bit of time to go down there, but not much left. Padua would need to score quickly.
Convert a try and another draw. Short ball, flat ball, hitting the advantage line. So look out, we're not over it. Oh, he's lost it. Well, maybe Joshua Organ will say, well, justice has been done, sir. So the scrum feed will go to Peter Claver. 12-6. How's an approximate time? It's not far off our clock, so it'll be last play here for Peter Claver, and unless Rocky Grammar can somehow dislodge the footy from the ball carrier, could well be all over. Half from dummy from the back of the scrum. Malik Torino, who's been quiet this game. It's all been the Seddon Stewart show. Stewart into dummy half. Goes himself, tries to get through the forwards, but there's just too many of them. 1, 2, 3. Trying to get a one-on-one strip. That might be the fullback there on Sineski. Loses the boot. Blindside. Set. Ball and all tackle here there. Get off quick. A little push and shove in the back. It's going to be a penalty here to the defending side. Last grasp opportunity. I reckon that hooter goes. That thing is going to go flying in the air because they do have the slight advantage of, that's a monstrous kick, slight advantage of the breeze.
Very good kick given so close to the line, but that clock would be ticking. Our clock's up here.
It says full time, so it's not far off. Might be, definitely this is the last set.
Keep an ear out for the hooter as a nice offload. Keeps Rocky Grammar rolling.
They got numbers out to the right-hand side. The back line is just struggling way back. Now they finally join the 10 metres. Centre of the park. They want to score. If they do score, they need to be close to the uprights. The ball's come loose. There's the hooter. There's full time. Peter Claver winning in a thriller. 12 points to 6. Oh, the heartbreak on Rockhampton Grammar. They're on their haunches. They can't believe it. But Peter Claver, they've hung on. What a dynamic game there from Lachlan Stewart, and Charles said Joshua Organ was outstanding. And you got to feel for Rocky Grammar.
Yeah, I just wonder if the emotion of last night with a big game in front of the huge crowd for Rocky Grammar, and they played so well in that match, whether that had any impact today, trying to back up. But full credit to Peter Claver. They kept playing. They had attacking weapons. They scored good tries, and they set themselves up to have a play